Alrighty then, what is goody, my scuddies? Today we are gonna be trying something new actually, because obviously I've been doing a lot of gaming shit. Right now I've decided to react to some controversial shit right here. So this is a YouTuber that I've seen popping up recently. He's right wing, kind of, what could I say, like a conversational YouTuber who goes around and asks people questions, right? His name is James Klug. You can go check him out if you're interested. And in this video, he's going around asking people in PSU, which is Portland State University in Oregon, United States, obviously. He's going around and asking them, should children be able to consent to puberty blockers? Now, puberty blockers are a type of medicine / normally a pill that children would take when they believe that they shouldn't go through puberty, or when their parents believe that they shouldn't go through puberty because they believe they're the opposite gender. That's normally the main reason for it. And personally, I believe children cannot consent to puberty blockers because puberty is a huge part of development, and children, obviously, their brains aren't fully developed. People don't fully develop their brains until around 25 years of age, and if your brain isn't fully developed, then why should you be able to consent to something so permanently, life-altering? But yeah, I'm gonna stop waffling. These guys kind of get into it. They're gonna show you some points, and in this video, this really shows how people with opposing views can be very, what could I say, what's a nice way to say it, let's say just dumb. They can be very dumb and very aggressive when it comes to topics like these, like controversial topics. You'll see a few examples of this. Like, instead of having a conversation, a lot of people just resort to violence or harassment, which is just a horrible way to go through with this. Having conversations really gets people to think more, which helps society in general. In my opinion, what these guys are doing is very good. So let's whoopsie daisy. Let's check this shit out. All right.
Hopefully, maybe some will come by and just give their views, and it will be as whatever as this conversation was.
As pleasant as this conversation's been.
It might not. It's Portland.
I think you just shouldn't talk to them and ignore them because they're just pieces of
Oh. Yeah, specifically, well, not specifically these two, but these two are a good example of just, as I said, those people who do resort to violence or harassment instead of talking to them because they're scared of conversation. And normally when they resort to violence or harassment, it's because they don't have points to back up their argument. Like, this guy just threw a cup of water at him for standing around and asking people questions. Same with the other guy who was just calling them a piece of shit for doing nothing. So
you're a idiot.
There you go.
Hey, you guys, you can't.
Don't touch. Hey!
Yeah, so this is just the first episode. There's 3 episodes. I'll probably keep looking at the rest of them. So they're just doing a quick introduction here. We can kind of get into the questions a little bit early here.
What do you think about this sign? What are your thoughts about this? Do you agree with it at all, or what are your thoughts on this?
I think that kids don't have like the neurological development to be able to make a life-altering decision that will affect them like years down the line.
Yeah, we'll give you enough room.
Yeah, so that's basically what I said, is that children aren't neurologically developed enough to make their own decisions, especially something so life-altering. Like, later on they'll talk about this in the video, but children can't consent to taking drugs. They can't have tattoos. They can't drink. They can't drive. And that's for a reason. It's because they're not fully developed mentally, so why should they be able to permanently change themselves? Like, puberty is such an important part of development. Like, why in the world would you change that, By the way, I'm sorry about the shitty quality. My Wi-Fi is ass right now, so I'm working with what I got.
For sure see both sides of the argument, because there are just overwhelming numbers of kids who do feel stuck.
I don't know. I think that, like, at a very young age, kids aren't certain of where they're at. It's such a time where you're trying to figure out who you are.
So yeah, both of those are kind of similar in a way. Those two people, they have somewhat similar ideology, but then it also differs in a sense, because the first girl, she said, oh, there's a lot of examples of children being stuck. And yeah, that is true. A lot of children do get stuck, but that doesn't mean that they have to do something so permanently life-changing. Like, there are other resolutions to issues like that. Especially when children are about to go through puberty, or they're going to go through puberty, then their mind, like, it's influenced by a lot of hormones, and these hormones really make emotions more powerful and more prominent. So it's very common to feel sad or feel upset or really, really happy during these times. And just because that doesn't mean you should permanently change your life.
I'm more well versed in like testosterone placement therapy and whatnot. I'm not so sure on like the estrogen and what that can do, but those things are like crucial when children develop. Just the fact that kids can get that nowadays, it's mind blowing, you know.
They feel
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying, is that puberty is so important for development that blocking that out just doesn't make sense for a child growing up.
like they don't, the body that they're in doesn't match who they are, right? And then you have parents who are seeing a lot of kids in that situation commit suicide or have mental health issues, and they're like, I want to be there for my kid. If this is what they feel like is going to help them, if this is what they feel like is going to help them be more conducive in society, then like, let's take those steps. But at the same time, I do think that taking those steps at 7, 8, 9 is crazy young.
Yeah, I fully agree. Obviously, you should not even you should definitely not take these steps at 7, 8, or 9 years old. Like, children are not developed enough to make that decision, and if the parents are making the decision for them, that's just abusive. Now, I don't believe that they should even be taking these procedures or therapy even when they're 14, 15, 16, until at least in their 20s. Maybe they could start doing that, but like I said, people aren't fully developed until 25, so really any age below 25 isn't a good place to start, because you don't know what you want yet. And then eventually, once you do know what you want, you might not have wanted that. And if you go through with it, then you might be ruining your life in a way. A lot of people regret changing their gender when they do afterwards. And it's because they do it before they're fully developed.
For anything.
So let me ask you a question before the conversation continues, if I may. So what year are you in and what's your major?
I am a senior. This is my last term.
Oh, it's your last
actually,
term.
here. Yeah, and business major.
Okay,
Data
so you
analytics.
probably don't have an opportunity to talk about a lot of these issues.
Within like a class setting, or just
either
like,
one.
Yeah, not really.
You ever
Yeah.
express those views on campus?
So I used to work here actually, and sometimes I would talk about my opinions and whatnot, and I was let go. I believed in free speech and whatnot, and I would talk about my views on fat acceptance and whatnot, and how I think that could be destructive to one's health.
So this is actually a great example. These two guys specifically, both are not able to portray their own views just because of the way society has influenced these institutions to only portray one side of the argument. Like, how in the world can universities become political now? Because this guy, right, the first guy, he can't even portray his opinion about the child blockers or like any of his opinions that would go against the university, which is very oppressive to free speech. But if you agree with the university, I'll go ahead, talk about it all you want. It doesn't make any sense. Now, this situation is even worse with this guy here, because he used to work here and he got fired because of what he said, which is super oppressive. Because I bet if a random woman went in there and started saying, oh, fat acceptance is great, which fat acceptance in my opinion is very stupid. I'm not exactly skinny, but I know that I should not be happy being fucking obese. But yeah, off topic. So I bet if like anyone could go in there and start talking about, oh, how you should, don't be fat phobic, quote unquote, it's not a real word, don't be fat phobic, support fat people, blah blah blah, and no one would bat an eye. But this guy says his own opinion, which is against that. Everyone gets pissed.
To be accepting of an unhealthy state of body, I would have like conversations and whatnot, and eventually that I built like a reputation against me in a place that kind of has an agenda.
Can I address a couple things?
Sure.
One of the first things you said there was for these children who feel mismatched. What does that look like? What does that mean?
I can't say for certain. I can say what I think it means.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Yeah, what do you think?
What I think it means is a kid, or let's say a girl, biological girl, really loves to do typical masculine things.
So yeah, this is a good example. I'm going to talk about this because a lot of children, I mean, even I went through this,
Right.
go through phases where they kind of portray different gender than their own. Like, a lot of boys when they're young, they want to play with Barbies, or like she said, a lot of girls want to wrestle or be tomboyish, right? This doesn't mean that they should fully change their fucking gender. For some reason, especially in modern day, a lot of people are taking things to the extreme. Like, just because a girl wants to wrestle or play in the mud or whatever the fuck doesn't mean they want to be a boy. It's a phase. People go through that. That's important for development, to find what you are really like, to find your personality. And some people do keep that until their adult lives, and some of them do turn out to be homosexual, which I'm not saying is a horrible thing, but it's definitely fucking better than changing your gender completely, especially at such a young age. So in my opinion, I believe they should just let them go through the phases. Parents especially, even children, they should just go through their phases and develop as they're supposed to develop. Because I had a similar phase. If I didn't go through that phase, I wouldn't be the man I am today. You know? So what's the fucking point of having that development if you're just gonna block it?
Like
She likes to wrestle, play with trucks. She likes to wear boys' clothes. She doesn't want to brush her hair.
Yeah, this is basically what I said, that it's just kind of phases, you know? It's just phases.
This is what this whole ideology really hinges on. But these are stereotypes. These are regressive stereotypes. And I'm a bit older than you. I'm 47. When I grew up, we kind of got away from all these sexist, regressive stereotypes, and our girls could be tomboys, and we told them they can be whatever they want to be when they grow up. And we got away from all this, and now it seems to have come full circle, where we're telling kids that just because they don't conform to society's standards of the stereotypical behaviors for their sex, that this must mean they're trans and they need to alter their body.
Did you
Exactly,
have anything
it's
specific you
dumb.
wanted to throw out about it?
Here we go. A great example of someone who resorts to harassment. This guy is not even in the fucking conversation, and he just walks up in his bike and just blocks them from talking to each other, which is just a really bad way to conduct yourself, and a horrible example of the opposing opinion, because a lot of people here, they don't agree with these men, but they portray their opinions, they talk about it. But then you have this guy, for example, who's transgender, walks up and just does this shit, and it's just it's a horrible representation, really.
So what's going on here?
What's happening here?
I'm just taking a drink of water.
Oh, I see. So this is standard tactic. People just come and get in my face in order to stop conversation, because
We're having a
fascists like yourself think that conversations are evil, right?
All right, you guys, let's take a few.
Yeah, so that guy just went in the middle of them and just didn't let them talk, which is very non-progressive, really.
Back to the video.
But my philosophy is that there's no right way to be a boy or a girl. If a girl wants to climb trees and play in the dirt and have a dirty room, well, she's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And I give talks and public speeches all the time, and I'll ask the women, you know, how many of you were tomboys growing up?
What the
And
fuck?
it's usually 50-50. And honestly, a lot of the time it's just more fun.
Yeah.
Climb trees and play in the dirt and throw around a football and all that stuff.
Yeah, like, as he was saying, like, a lot of times it's 50-50. A lot of people do go through those phases. Some people don't even go through those phases. And it's important for development. Like you said, girls that he asked, a lot of them said that they were tomboys when they were younger. And that's common. My bad, I'm tired as fuck. That's common, right? So just let them go through their phase and let them develop. Also, this guy looks like a fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 NPC, like, just walking around, like, looking at people, bro.
But it doesn't mean you're any less of a girl. No matter how masculine a girl is, well, she's still a beautiful girl.
Right.
And I think that's the body positive message we should be sending. Instead, we're now
Exactly.
stopping the physical development of children.
That's actually a good point, because in modern society, a lot of leftists, they say, oh, you should be very supportive of your body. Same thing with the fat acceptance, right? Oh, you should be very supportive of your body, be accepting of everyone, of everything. And you have to be accepting of, you know, gay people, trans people, straight people, whatever the fuck. Well, straight people less, because they don't believe that. But the funny thing is, they say that and you should be body positive, but then they won't be body positive about someone who is maybe tomboyish or not conforming to their own gender, which is kind of a not double-edged sword. What's the saying? Like, it's very contradicting, really.
Just because, what, stereotypes?
But what's going on nowadays is children are getting these they think that there's something they're not. And it's actually, a lot of it happens because the school systems that they're in, they bring these topics to them, and this wasn't around when I was growing up in the school system. It's something that's really new.
I think it
Absolutely. Not even like, even now, I don't live in the West right now. I live in Asia at the moment, and my schooling system, it's very like, it doesn't happen. People do not talk about changing your own gender. And in America, a lot of children, America and Canada specifically, especially those two countries, a lot of children are being indoctrinated into thinking that they can be whatever they want, you know, be whoever they want, but they should really just be themselves. You can't change who you are. You can't just say, oh, I'm a woman now, you have to call me a woman when you have a cock between your legs. Like, that's not how it fucking works, you know? And a lot of children are being indoctrinated into thinking that, and it's just not beneficial for society in general, in my opinion. Like, personally, if I had kids, I would not send them to school in the US or Canada. That's just my personal opinion, unless I know it's specifically like a Christian school or something like that that doesn't indoctrinate children.
could be a combination of stereotypes, and it could also be a combination of, like I said earlier,
NPC's
like
back.
the fear of like losing your child. Like your kid comes to you
Right.
and says, I'm depressed, I feel like I'm in the wrong body, you know, the typical dialogue that you see.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because she is right. A lot of children do state that they're depressed, or they're not who they should be. They don't think they are who they should be. And like I said, that's just part of growing up. People go through that. Hormones are raging, especially through puberty. Even before puberty, they're starting to spike, and that's just emotions, you know. A lot of children are not depressed unless there's some sort of trauma or some sort of mental issue. The average child will not be depressed because of some dumb issue like, oh, I feel like I'm not in the correct body, I should be a girl when I'm a boy. No. Alright? These are just emotions that are caused by hormones mainly, especially through puberty, before puberty.
And then next thing you know, you're planning a funeral. And, you know,
So-
the suicide rate amongst teens from 13 to like 17 has gone up. I don't know the percentage exactly,
Yeah.
but it has gone up a lot. So I could see a parent wanting to
Damn.
maybe just
NPC drip.
preemptively like jump in on that. But then again, I do also think that there needs to be serious dialogue with like a medical professional.
My little sister, she's 12, and she's been told since she was in 4th grade that all these new gender ideas and whatnot, and now more than ever,
It's interesting because obviously this has been present for a long time, but it was very minimal, especially in the 2020s. Like 2020s, I'd say 2015 to 2020 to where we are now. It was the period of people starting to want to be noticed more, attention seeking, and that comes actually with Gen Z and social media and shit like that. I am Gen Z, but I don't support what's going on in America or Canada with my generation. A lot of my generation are fucking idiots, and it's a lot of attention seeking, and they're trying to bring transgenderism, which is really just gender dysmorphia, and homosexuality to the public and really make it a huge thing and gain attention, and they've achieved that, which doesn't help the situation at all. I'm not saying it's a horrible thing if you're gay or you're trans, but it's not exactly biologically natural. And especially nowadays, like I said, it's really attention seeking when they just want to bring it to the public. Obviously you want to be supportive if you're like that, but in my opinion, the majority of people who are homosexual or transgender tend to have mental health issues of some sort. It's not actually biological that they aren't a man or aren't a woman. It's just not how it works.
they're getting a lot more kids that are coming out and whatnot, and it's just they're children that are just being told these ideas.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to believe it, and they can get hormones now.
It's literally just like a fad at this point. A lot of children are doing this shit just because it's popular, like they see it online, and they just want attention. That's what it is. Obviously, children want attention. They're children, and I'm not blaming children for wanting attention, but this is not a way to go.
No.
And she goes to school in Oregon.
Yeah. She talks to me about all these things that happen, and you know, her friends getting hormones and whatnot, and it's crazy because men who are experiencing you know, the effects of low testosterone in this world, it's getting even harder for them to get testosterone replacement therapy.
Exactly. It's actually difficult for modern men to get testosterone replacement therapy or more testosterone because of these transgender ideologies.
Which, you know, for them who actually need it for a medical reason, You know, it's crazy how it's more difficult for them to get it than, you know, for children who are, you know what I mean?
That's right. Any girl can walk into a gender clinic and walk out that day with testosterone.
Here we go again.
Touch me. Do not touch me.
So why are you so afraid of people
You
having
first
a
of all, you just
conversation?
touched me.
No, you touched me with that mic.
No, you touched my mic. You
I was just-
literally came up here.
You were behind me.
Do you mind
It's
getting
on
out of the way of our
We're having a
conversation?
conversation here.
I do mind getting out of the way of your
So
conversation.
why are you afraid of conversation?
I don't give a about your conversation.
But why are you so afraid of people having?
This trans guy says, "Oh, I don't give a fuck about your conversation. If you don't give a fuck, then why are you stopping it from happening? Obviously, you give a fuck. You're just being bitchy by just putting your bike in between them." This guy's a fucking idiot.
I'm not afraid.
Then why are you
Why are you
trying
trying to stop it?
I'm not trying to stop.
Well, sure you are.
You are shaking right
So
now.
if I move over here, you're not going to come
Why
and
do
follow
you?
me? Is
Why
that
do
what
you
you're
think
saying?
I'm? Why do you think I'm shaking? Very nerve-wracking.
Hey, could I ask you your statement? Why is it important for you to...
No, you can't ask me.
Well, no, I just want to
No,
know.
no,
what you're
no. I'm just sitting here.
Well, hey,
Of all the places
so if
you
I
just
move over
randomly
there-
came here.
So if I move
Oh, he's
10 feet
just
that way,
minding
you're
his
not going to
business.
follow
Let's
me?
go over here.
Yeah, there
no,
we
if
go.
he wants to
Well, he's minding his
misbehave,
business.
if he wants to misbehave, we can.
He doesn't give a fuck, and then he just follows them. Oh, I'm not trying to stop sit, and then he just follows them wherever they go. Like, what the fuck?
Move the conversation. That's fine.
Oh, I thought you were minding your business. How come you're moving?
Okay, so yeah, you don't believe that they can consent. Just to get us back on track here.
I just think it's like for children specifically. It's just like
No, that's all we're talking about. is
right.
children.
It's just too young. I think. Like I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard because a lot of like parents seem to be pushing it at a certain level. I don't think that's like common, but I think there's like a small underlying like narcissism that kind of.
Bro, this fucking guy is so annoying. Leave them the hell alone. Go jerk off to furry porn or some shit. I don't care. Leave.
Gets carried out for very specific cases where puberty blockers are kind of pushed on kids too young. Otherwise, I think it's just like a really weird time.
Excuse me.
Bro,
something.
he's
Yeah,
literally
do you
blocking
mind?
the fucking
Do you
camera.
mind? You what?
Do mind.
You do mind?
Yeah.
I thought you were just minding your business.
Yeah.
I'm from West. I'm a trans refugee from West Virginia, y'all.
What the fuck? I'm a trans refugee from West Virginia. Damn, it must be such a hard time living in West Virginia with all the wars and all the raging psychos there, all the bombings, all the nukes, all the guns everywhere. Shut the fuck up. You ain't no refugee. This is a horrible, horrible person. There are real refugees from Syria or from Afghanistan that go to other countries in search of refuge, horrified of what could have happened to them, barely surviving, watching their family die. And this man goes, I'm a trans refugee from West Virginia. This guy is fucking disrespectful in every single way, and he should leave the hell alone.
Yeah? What's
Y'all don't
trans
even-
about
A refugee?
What's trans about you?
What is trans?
Yeah.
No. Fuck what's trans about him. Look at his ass. He's obviously transgender. He's fucking stupid. How is he a refugee, bro? Let James's point come across. How is he a fucking refugee?
Are you saying you're a trans person?
What is trans?
The fuck is he doing?
All right, let's should we move?
Oh, okay.
Yo, what the fuck is this guy doing? Bro, you know what? These guys are really taking good care of themselves. They're not getting aggressive with him. He is, obviously. But if I was there, I probably would have thrown hands instantly.
Hey, no, we're getting a display here. How about that?
This,
Would you like
this is
to
a
have
whole
a
show.
conversation about
Yeah.
Because it feels like...
Really quick, I think you just shouldn't talk to them and
Lord above. Fuck me. Here comes Moby Dick. Oh my god. Moby Dick without a dick. Look at this guy. 300 probably pounds, like 150 kg. Pink dyed hair. Wearing a mask when there's not even fucking COVID anymore. I'm not saying there's a bad thing. I obviously wore masks and shit. I'm not anti-mask. But look at this. Starbucks cup in hand. Obesity epidemic. Gay as hell, obviously. This is just a horror. Like, look how badly kept this side is, and then look how well kept this side is. This just shows the two sides of the argument, man.
ignore them because they're just pieces of who aren't gonna listen to
Well, that's not very nice to you. Nice of you to say.
It's because the that you promote ends up with people dying because of it.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Because
Okay, that's a
Let's-
big
let's
deal.
talk about that.
Let's discuss that.
Like, because you promote like this hate towards people like me
Hate.
and other trans people, and trans people get murdered.
I'm sorry, trans people get murdered? Show me the fucking statistics, please. I'd like to see how many trans people get murdered compared to black people, for example, right? Also, I don't know how they're showing any hate towards trans people. They're just putting a fucking board up that says children cannot consent to puberty blockers. That's just their opinion. That's not hating anyone. That's just what they think. What?
Because of the hate against them. So it's not just like a free speech thing. It's
Do
that
you
you're
know what the murder rate of transgender people is?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about that data, because that's a claim that you'd make, and I'd like to explore that with you.
Okay, well, you know what? Off.
That's great, you know, because like she presents a point and she says she says trans people get murdered because of all the hate, and they say, oh, so let's talk about that. What are the statistics on that? Do you know that? And obviously she doesn't fucking know. She's just bullshitting. She just says fuck off. And that's a great example of how a lot of these people, they just say shit. They don't have evidence to back it up. Like, she doesn't have any fucking evidence. These guys all have evidence. Like, they all have the statistics. They have all of that to back it up. Like he said, for example, the tomboy thing, 50-50, they have the statistics. She doesn't. So she just resorts to harassment and violence instantly when, you know, she knows she's wrong.
Just this. You should be. This is harassment.
Okay, you made a claim.
Harassment.
You made a claim, and we'd like to. We'd like to.
You otherwise, but I'm just saying this should be considered.
Okay, so you have no evidence.
So my mom is a 60s baby. Her brother is born in the 50s. When the whole idea or the whole embodiment of like the trans community first became like a thing, you needed to actually be diagnosed by a medical professional with gender dysmorphia.
Exactly. Like, this is the same situation as me. My parents are also from the 60s. And exactly. Back in the day, you needed to be diagnosed. You needed medical diagnosis of gender dysmorphia or gender dysmorphia. And if you didn't have that, why the fuck would you change your own gender? That's just attention seeking. Okay? Gender dysmorphia is a common disease within the autistic community, people on the spectrum, things like that, right? And that's the reason that they have to change their genders, is because they have huge mental health issues that really would benefit from having changed their gender, because they have they're on the spectrum, obviously, and it would benefit them. So I'm just gonna read what it says here on Google. The first thing that pops up, it says, gender dysphoria is the feeling of discomfort or distress that might occur in people whose gender identity differs from their sex assigned at birth or sex-related physical characteristics. So I don't know what the fuck sex assigned at birth means. Is it like literally if you have a cock or a vagina, you're a woman or a man? So I don't know what the fuck that means. That's the first thing that pops up on Google, right? But yeah, as I said, it is very common in people on the spectrum. But the average person will not have gender dysphoria, and a lot of these trans people do not. So what's the fucking point of changing their gender? Attention. That's the point.
Yeah, like it was like a real thing, and it's like, you know what?
So they didn't go to affirm, right? They didn't go when the
they-
kid came. They went to kind of explore.
And
with
it
the
wasn't
child
like kids typically.
Exactly.
It was, you know, like maybe 18, 19 and
Yep.
like up, when you can make your
100%.
own medical decisions for yourself.
So, just so you know, I've been for more than 2.5 years now traveling around North America.
Sorry to interrupt him here, but this is a good example of someone whose views don't exactly align with the view of children cannot consent to puberty blockers. She's being very respectful about it. She's not violent or aggressive like the trans guy or that woman who was saying that we're harassing her. She's being very respectful about it. Even though her views don't agree 100%, she is still being very respectful about it and is willing to have a conversation. This is how, in my opinion, people should be when being faced with these challenges. Just talk about it.
America, having conversations just like this. I'm connected to lots of doctors and all the people kind of fighting this ideology. I've pretty much read all the major studies that there are to read.
Yep.
And I can't find evidence that suicides go up if we don't transition kids. Now, I know this is the #1 talking point, especially from the left. But there really isn't evidence for it. And we have this woman, her name's Laura Edwards Leeper. She worked at the Boston Children's Hospital Gender Clinic since 2006 when it opened. So for 15 years she worked there. She's quit now. But she wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post last year where even she admitted she's not aware of any epidemic of suicides.
Right. No, and I'm not.
That's actually a really good statistic there, like a good fact. He has facts to back his shit up, you know? There isn't actually an epidemic of suicides when children are not transitioned. There's more when they are.
I'm not saying there's an
Yeah.
epidemic. There
But
are.
when it comes to the suicidality thing, I do agree that, you know, these kids, they do have higher suicidal ideation.
Right.
And we need to help
right.
these children.
Bro, this
'Cause
NPC,
it
bro.
stems from depression. I'm not saying there's an
It's
epidemic.
fucking NPC.
But when you look at, you know, certain numbers of, you know, oh, this kid committed suicide, and then they look at the child's history. It's like, oh, well, they were having issues with gender
things.
conformity and stuff like that.
We have all of these identities that come along with being a man and a woman that
Yeah.
society follows. That is gender ideology. Having any sort of things that have to come along with having, like being a man or a woman, is gender ideology.
Well,
So-
my position is that nothing should have to come along with that. That there's no right way to be a boy or girl.
Exactly. There's not really a correct way to be a boy or a girl, and that does kind of play into the transgender view that there isn't a way where you can be a boy or a girl. But there's one kind of crucial aspect of being a boy or a girl. It's having a cock or having a vagina. Okay, that's the main fucking point. If you have that, you can be however the fuck you want. There could be a girl who fucking, I don't know, plays professional basketball, like a WNBA player. That's a woman, right? That's not a man. That doesn't mean just because she plays basketball she's more masculine. Doesn't mean she's a man. Still means she's a girl.
A man or a woman. That's
There's-
my position.
there's no right way.
There's no right way to be a boy or girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no specific,
I'm saying that
kind of follow up with
there's no
a
right way
male
to be
or
a boy or
female,
girl.
then
Jesus.
I think being a
But
boy and a
there's-
girl, you're saying how it's fluid.
But
And
you
so
are
that
saying
means
there's a
anyone
right way
could
to
be
be a
anything that
father.
they want.
That is absolutely not what he is saying. He is not saying that gender is fucking fluid. That's a very dumb belief. He is saying that basically there's no correct way to be male or female. I'm just reiterating what he's saying. Like, you can choose what you want to be. Obviously, this is a man and a woman here, and that guy's gay. You can fucking tell. And she's probably lesbian. I wouldn't be surprised if she was. I'm not. That just shows their personality, in my opinion. But yes, gender is not fluid. He's just saying that if you have a vagina, you can be whatever the fucking kind of girl you want. If you have a cog, you can be whatever kind of man you want. Don't care.
So if someone was born a female with, like, you know, how there's like the male and female when you're born.
Okay.
If someone decides,
Just say
you
cock
know,
or vagina.
If they decide to transition, that's the fluidity of
Can
it.
I address
No.
that?
You're welcome to.
Sure. So, if a girl is more masculine, if she wants short hair and wants to wear pants,
Oh my fucking god, bro. I cannot deal with this trans guy. At least these two are being respectful. Their views are completely differing, but they're still being respectful about it. Then there's just fucking this trans guy who just goes around, sings, interrupts their shit. Isn't even a good singer too, which is kind of funny. It's just annoying.
and climb trees and play in the dirt and throw around a football.
Or wrestle or play with trucks.
Guess what? She's a beautiful girl. That doesn't mean she's a boy. There's a really good article by a woman named Jamie
Exactly.
Reed, and if you want, you can DM me on Twitter and I can send it to you or whatever. But this woman worked at the Washington University Transgender Clinic in St. Louis for the last 4 years, and she just wrote this piece in the Free Press, and she submitted an affidavit to the Missouri Attorney General. And almost all of these kids, virtually all of them, have some other mental health comorbidities going on.
Now, what is this NPC
There
doing?
might have been abuse. There might have been trauma,
Exactly.
there might
This
have
is
been
this is my
sexual
point. This is my point.
A lot of these girls and boys who've been sexually abused.
Yep.
I'll talk to you after. All right. Good stuff.
he's the devil, bro. No way, Satan. Bro, I gotta go talk to that guy. What the fuck is he doing, bro? look at her face, man. Look at it. She's like, what the fuck? Mid conversation too. He's actually giving a good ass point too. Like I said, that's my point, that there's a lot of mental health issues besides that.
Like girls who've been sexually abused, for example, this is the biggest trauma they've ever had in their life.
Yep.
They don't want to be a girl because
Absolutely.
that's for them the source of this abuse. And now you have this ideology coming along saying, well, you can just identify out of your sex.
Yeah.
But
that really stunts the development. If you just identify out of your sex, that's just a kind of veering away from facing your own issues. You're kind of leaning on something to kind of ignore those issues and veer away from them. Like I said, they're leaning on changing their identity just so they don't have to identify as this, just so they don't have to face their fears, you know? It's like a child who is afraid of the dark. Instead of facing their fear, they get a nightlight and they use it for the next 20 years, and then as an adult they're scared of the dark. It's the same shit. Face your fears, go through with it. you will be a better person because of it. Obviously, sexual abuse is fucking horrible, and it shouldn't happen to anyone because it's fucked up. But that doesn't mean you should change your gender because of it.
But these therapists and everything today, doctors at these gender clinics, they're not screening for trauma or abuse.
Exactly.
They're not treating other mental health comorbidities. They just go straight to gender as though it's the underlying problem.
And to affirm, right? To immediately affirm. It's not to, like you said, with your
Just to
mom born in
affirm.
the 60s. I'm older than Chris's. My name's Peter. I was born in 1966, and I've seen the changes and the process that they used to undergo. You have to have years of intensive, like what you started with the discussion about therapy. But the starting point was not, yes, you're correct, you were born in the wrong body.
Exactly.
The starting point was, let's therapeutically explore this and have a conversation about.
That's how it should be, you know? Explore it. Because it's not that you're born in the wrong body, that you're a different gender. It's that you might have other issues, underlying issues that are not shown. Especially nowadays, like he said, they don't test for that.
And I will work with you and we will figure this out together. That's no longer the starting point.
What I'm saying
gang
is,
of white dudes ganging up on people, like, just they're like, oh, tell us.
what you're saying is, if a woman, if someone who's
We're trying to understand what she's.
Bro, you're literally white. Shut the fuck up. What do you mean? Look at this gang of white people. They're so evil. Bro, what? How are they evil? They're just trying to have a conversation. You're a piece of shit for that.
You're not trying to understand shit. You're gaslighting people and you're trying to get for your channel.
Gaslighting people? What the fuck? Evidence, please?
Like, it's all just
We're
the same
literally having conversations.
How much
Exactly.
y'all make off this?
You're
Y'all make
obviously
a lot
not
of money.
You're actually helping me a lot, so please continue doing exactly what you're doing.
I'd actually prefer to
You're
get
actually
conversations
doing
over somebody
exactly
misbehaving, to be
what
honest with
the
you.
internet
I'd prefer to get
loves.
what
You're
you
gonna
have to
pick up
say.
so many
Yeah, really quick, how do you feel about this behavior, what Peter's saying?
This behavior, I mean, I can't say that my first reaction wasn't very similar.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't have been similar.
So why are you not doing this and actually trying to have a conversation?
Annoying as
Because
fuck.
I believe that conversating does create a more constructive kind of argument, and like more people can learn things.
Exactly. Have a conversation. Start a narrative. Why the fuck do you have to resort to harassment and violence like this fucking trans guy? Like, of course, his belief is very differing, but he's talking about it, and that's the important thing. People should be able to talk.
2 cents on the matter
Yeah,
is
please.
if because of how gender is in society and how important it is for some people don't feel comfortable being, you know, with the gender that they're assigned at birth.
Lucifer.
I think it's really important to let people identify the way that they want to.
Let's add a Lucifer counter on screen right now. So this is the second time we've seen him on screen. Let's keep this going.
Especially considering
I've seen the devil.
weight that some of these identities have on certain people.
In this conversation, we're really focusing on children, how children cannot consent to puberty.
He just said, see how they're gaslighting. Are you fucking stupid? He is veering. Klug here is veering this man's conversation because he was going off topic. They're talking about children. They're not talking about adults, just children. No gaslighting, bro.
It's more about the medical.
When it comes to the medical side of things, also, you know, we're not out here talking about adults or anything like that.
Okay. No, it's strictly not adults.
Yeah,
It's children.
We're talking about children
and
here.
the medical
on
stuff.
the sign.
Right. So no matter what comes of like these conversations.
Oh, Lucifer, screen time number 3. Lucifer check, Lucifer check.
Well, I really appreciate you having one.
Yeah.
Because I think with such an important issue where kids are being harmed,
Yeah.
we should be able to talk about this.
Of course.
But
Start
we're
a
not allowed
narrative.
to, you know? And we're talking about stopping the development of children.
Yep.
And we can't talk about this and look at all the
Yeah,
evidence.
I mean, we're talking about that. We're talking about cross-sex hormones, and then we're talking about surgical
Surgeries.
procedures for these
Surgeries.
children.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, really going back to it, you know, we're talking about the worry of suicide or suicidality is affirming and going down that path. Really, the answer for a child when their gender dysphoria could desist.
Yeah. So I don't have any kids. I have nieces and nephews that I care dearly about.
Yeah.
So I can't say from like a parent's perspective. I can say though, and I have to get to class after this, but I can say though that I do believe that growth on both sides, from your side of the aisle and other people's side of the aisle, it stops when we can't have these conversations,
100%.
whether we agree or
Exactly,
not.
bro.
Thoughts on that? Any happy medium there? Any?
Now they're trapping you.
What do you think?
They're leading you down a hole.
Bro.
It's
So-
called a conversation.
You're not having a.
As someone who
You're not.
As someone who was a child and didn't feel the need to be on puberty blockers, I
Yeah.
don't feel like I have a place to say like how that might feel for a child who wants to get puberty blockers
Right.
or that decision as well. As someone who also like isn't a father either, you know, like I'm 18. Yeah, that's my.
Why not wait till 18, 25?
I have no opinion on that.
What does it mean to be trans?
What does it mean to be trans?
I don't know. I've never
He's asking you.
can get an answer to that question.
I'm asking you.
Oh my god, what is he, 2 years fucking old? He's asking you. I'm asking you. What does it mean to be trans? What does it mean to be trans? Fucking answer some shit or leave. Annoying ass guy, bro.
Well, you just claimed you're trans,
I am trans.
and I'm asking you what that means.
What does it mean to you?
Well, I would tell you that transition is something you do.
Square up,
You
bro.
don't tell anybody.
Okay, well, you
Square
asked
up.
what it
You,
means.
you literally just asked.
So
Exactly. This fucking guy just asked him what it means to be trans. Then he starts talking and you say, oh, you don't tell me shit. Shut up, bro.
to tell you what it means.
Transition is
Well,
something
I'm
you
not
do.
asking
It's
you to
not
tell
something
me
you
what it
are.
means.
Well, no, you have the opportunity here to like educate a couple 100,000 people online
What
about
the fuck
what it
is he
means.
doing?
Educate people online.
Educate people online about what?
Bro, this is so
Well,
fucking
why are
What it is
you
to be
blocking
trans.
this? Why are you blocking? Why are you here? What message do you want to give people?
Okay, here's the message.
We're listening.
Y'all are a bunch of fascists using
Okay.
transgender medicine as a spearhead for your fascist
Oh, of course,
take
of
over
course.
the country because you're patriarchal
Fascist,
white
all of them.
supremacists. And
What?
That's just what it is, and y'all know what it is.
Why are
And
we?
this-
We're white.
I'm sorry. How are they white supremacists? How? Bro, that is goofy as fuck. Like, there's no evidence to say they're fucking white supremacists. That's so dumb. Absolutely. Well, this guy's hard to listen to.
White supremacist? What is your evidence for even saying that? Besides just
Well,
being a
you're
jerk to us.
White, right?
You're white.
And like white supremacy.
Exactly,
Is,
he's
You're
white.
the tip of the spear of white supremacy is anti-transgender discourse, right?
What?
But we're trying
Bro, that's fucking unrelated. What is this guy talking about, bro?
to center the conversation on the front or the back of the board.
And I agree. I agree. You
You
guys are
agree?
doing
You
a good
agree
thing.
with this?
Yes. Yeah.
And why do you agree with it?
Yeah.
It's life. It's biology. It's that you're a boy, you're a girl. It's that simple. And kids do not. Sorry.
Oh my god, she can't even fucking talk. This guy is so annoying. Bro, if I was there, I would whip out the 9 instantly, bro.
That's okay.
Keep going. Right. Talk right through it.
So, as a kid, you cannot say that you want to have sex. You cannot say that you want to do marijuana. You cannot have alcohol
Exactly.
until you're 21. Buy a gun
Get a
until you're
tattoo.
21. Exactly. You can't do a lot of things until you're at the proper age and until your brain is functioning properly. Or at a
Fuck off.
higher level, or however you say that. So, because of this, that means that kids cannot consent to this either. It's that simple. You can
Yep.
believe whatever you want. It doesn't change who you are biologically.
That's the exact fucking point, bro. That's what I said. Children cannot consent to taking drugs, doing all this shit before 18, but they can consent to changing their own fucking gender? No, they cannot.
And your parents should obviously love you no matter what.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
accept you for a beautiful boy or a beautiful girl,
Exactly.
as parents should.
Do you mind if I ask you? Do you express this viewpoint?
I
Do you go to
agree.
school here?
Yeah, I do.
Do you express this viewpoint here?
I can't.
Absolutely
You can't
not.
express the viewpoint of
No.
Portland State University. Why
I
not?
need to get a good grade. I need to get a good grade. And if I share this, I know that I will not get a good grade. So, especially in university studies classes, you cannot share any conservative views. It's that simple.
Oh, I don't consider that a conservative
yeah,
view.
I don't think.
I don't think that's a conservative view at all. I think it's just protecting children from abuse and developmental issues. This is just a horrible example of, like I said, schools in America being very indoctrinating. She can't even portray her own point of view, same as those other two guys. It's kind of sad that people can't even talk nowadays.
I think it's not a conservative view
But
at
she's
all.
making a good point because the media has painted this as a conservative view.
Right.
Universities
Exactly.
have painted this as a conservative view.
Exactly.
But there's nothing conservative about saying children are beautiful just as they are.
There
Nope.
are some things that you've said that I don't agree with, but that's your opinion. That's your idea of what you think is best, and
Like
that's.
what though?
Can I grab just one example
yeah,
of
yeah.
what you're talking about there?
I don't think that it's always harm. I think that in some cases it really can be a life-saving decision. I do think that for some kids,
Yeah, this is true because in a lot of situations it can be life-saving. Well, not a lot of situations, but in some rare situations it can be life-saving. But that's mainly because of other mental health issues, not because of them wanting to change their gender.
teenagers, that this is wholly necessary. My baseline though is that it really should
Lucifer appearance, bro. That's fire. He's back. He's back.
be left up to the parent, and parents don't, and I know this is like way on the other side. I know parents don't always make the best decisions.
He's praying.
And there are cases that have shown that parents that transition their kids too early, their kids grow up with even more mental health issues.
Yep.
But I think bottom line, it should be the parents' decision. I don't think that it's always a harm. I think that
it should be the parents' decision.
Should other things be parents' decisions too, like children getting tattoos?
Oh, absolutely.
Or like drinking, smoking.
Yeah, I think everything should be up to
age
the
of
parents.
consent.
I feel like unfortunately, like when the government steps in on a parent's job, other than like neglect, like kids not going to school, not eating, being dirty and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it opens up a whole nother like Pandora's box of what it's possible for
exactly,
the government to do. That's just my
right,
point
but we don't live in like an anarchist society. You know what I mean?
It can lead to a slippery slope. Like,
but
okay,
should 13-year-olds be able to drink though?
No.
Perform surgical procedures, double mastectomies on little girls. I mean, that's just. I think 5 years ago that was just
and
what a sane person believes.
Yeah, and you'd be concerned if you voiced your opinion in class.
Yeah.
And negative grading or
nasty.
And just also other students attacking you for it.
Oh, absolutely. That's
even
super
here,
common now.
The guy who was just singing just now, I couldn't even make a normal thought, you know?
Yep.
I wouldn't say like let 13-year-olds off in like bars.
Lucifer.
So they shouldn't get tattoos, drink. They shouldn't have sex, obviously, at 13.
No, definitely not.
But they can change sex?
That's an American ideology, though.
Well.
But there are countries, developed countries around the world that let their kids drink, get tribal tattoos.
That's the thing, that a lot of these countries do let them do that, but they don't let them change genders, obviously, bro.
Have sex, get married, have kids.
I guess for this conversation, I guess we could just talk about the United States, although we could make it global. But I guess for here, you know, we don't have that here.
I
absolutely
would not
not.
let my 13-year-old get a tattoo.
Neither would I, or change their gender.
But are there crazy parents out there, though?
Exactly. There are.
Yes.
How do we protect kids against crazy parents?
I feel like
regulations,
that's where the
rules and
come in.
regulations.
I feel like before you sign your kid up
Lucifer!
for like hormones and stuff and whatever else, I feel like there needs to be at least a year's worth of like, hey, we went to this psychologist, we went to this medical health professional, and we've had all these meetings and all these counsels.
Exactly.
And
I
stuff
think
like that.
a very good argument could be made that that's not even close to the case today. There's
not at all.
How many meetings before you can get on hormone blockers?
So here's the ideology,
would you disagree with how it is today?
No. I don't know what the process is because I don't have a trans child, or I don't have a child that's looking to transition. But I would hope that would be the process.
I'll give you a great example of the philosophy that now underpins this, and it's changed a lot even in recent years. So WPATH is the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. They write what are called the standards of care for these gender clinics to follow. They had their conference last September in Montreal. And during the initial speech, some protesters rushed the stage.
Jesus,
and they were calling
man.
for the total abolition of all therapy completely. Now, this sounds radical to us.
Bro,
but what happened in that conference is they received a standing ovation.
Jesus Christ, bro. They received a standing ovation for saying that therapy shouldn't exist. These people are fucking idiots.
Including from the president.
What?
People who run WPATH.
Oh
Because
my God.
the philosophy underpinning all of this is that you have a gender identity, and it may or may not coincide with your biological sex. Even suggesting therapy for your gender identity is to invalidate your gender identity, and it's sending this message that somehow you're wrong.
That's so dumb. Everyone should have to go through therapy before they can even consider changing their own genders.
For having this gender identity, because otherwise why would you need therapy?
Exactly.
So the push now is to get rid of all therapy completely.
Horrible.
And that's what we end up with kids
you don't
getting
agree
puberty
with that,
blockers on their
then?
first appointment. What are you studying here?
Biology and Russian.
You can't express a biological opinion in a biology class without getting a bad grade.
I'm not taking biology, I'm taking chemistry right now.
Oh my God.
That was my bad.
Sorry. Yeah.
So biology, but you can't have an opinion on biology at your college campus. I mean, are you close to graduating, or?
I'm first year.
You tell me about your position.
Sure.
Sure.
So transition is something you do, it's
get
not
on the other
something you
side.
are, and it's never for kids. Kids don't need a chemical castration drug, opposite sex hormones, and surgeries to find their true self.
Nico, you wanna?
Boys and girls are beautiful just as they are. So why should we be chemically castrating children
Children can't
when
consent
their brains
to
are still
church.
developing?
Children can't consent
I
to
agree.
anything, like all these things.
What?
I agree.
Yeah, but they're not
Lucifer!
getting chemical castration
Oh, there's
drugs at
Lucifer in
church,
the
are they?
background.
It's not chemical castration.
Really?
No, then what is
The
it?
endocrinologists say that it is.
It is not.
Well, of
You're
course
just
it is.
making this.
That's a really good point. You're just making this shit up. That's a really good point, you know? it isn't. You're making shit up. I never thought of it that way. Bro, another example of someone who just doesn't have the facts.
But what is it if it's not chemical castration?
It's not for me to say. It's not for you to say.
Do you know the scientific word for these drugs? Do you know what they are?
Yo, I have a PhD. Like, I
Okay, so you can tell me
Didn't
that.
you get fired here for
I
this?
teach you too.
Or do you still work here?
No,
Oh, so you did get fired here.
I resigned.
Oh, you worked
Yeah,
here.
you were forced to resign.
What?
I'm not sure how that relates
I've
to
been
the
like
argument.
waiting to meet your ass.
Oh, good. Well, here I am.
Yeah.
Well, congrats. Would you like?
Bro, I want to beat his ass so badly, bro. If I saw him on the street, oh, look at this goofy motherfucker. I would kick his ass so fast, bro. 5 days to Sunday, bro.
To talk to him?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, this is fun.
Okay.
So what do you think people are going to think when they see the video?
I don't give a what people think.
I don't give a fuck about you, bro.
We can, calm down. We can bring it down a little bit and have a conversation. You should.
Bro, this guy's such an
Do you think people are gonna
idiot.
be convinced about your argument when they see this as what Peter was getting
We're
at?
well past being convinced, y'all.
Huh?
Well, I mean, don't you want more people to agree with you so you can go about, transing
Don't
children?
you want people to agree with you? Isn't this why you have all this out here?
That's why we have
What?
conversations, because we
You're not having
allow the points to be.
conversations.
Yeah, we've had multiple since you showed up. You've actually been the first
Idiots.
disruptor of conversations.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I just want to
Oh,
lead
that's
off by
great.
saying
Thank you.
Thank you for
I
talking
may
to
not
us.
100% agree, and I know this PSU is extremely liberal and progressive, so there's going to be
Yep.
a bunch of people that aren't going to agree, but I do think that, like, a step moving forward.
Bro, what the fuck? Is that Tortuga from Breaking Bad, bro? Anyways, yeah. I'll point. She is being very respectful about everything, even though her points don't agree. The other guy, fuck him. She's very nice, though.
In either direction is for us to be able to have these conversations.
Last note real quick. So
Exactly.
Portland State University explicitly put out a statement saying don't talk.
I saw.
You saw that.
They wouldn't say who you guys were, but I've seen videos like, not you specifically, but videos like this on TikTok where it's like these
It's super common,
controversial
yeah.
people, right wing, whatever they want to call you guys, come and have these controversial conversations, and how it looks on TikTok is like, oh, you're just here to like start.
How do you
And
feel about the conversation?
It was chill. I think
Exactly,
that
bro.
everybody should come and have a conversation.
Hey,
Spread the
all
word.
right.
It
Who's
doesn't-
next?
It doesn't have to be an
Spread the word.
argument,
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
don't agree
have
with
to.
a lot of what they're saying, but it's an exchange of information between adults.
It's
Hopefully,
exactly,
maybe
bro. It's
some
that
will
easy.
come by and just give their views, and it will be as whatever as this conversation
As
was. but
pleasant
it might-
as this conversation's
yeah,
been.
it might not. It's Portland.
You're a idiot.
Jesus. Okay, well, we'll probably do episode 2. Let's just look at some highlights of episode 2 real quick.
You suck. I don't need to. You guys need air for this to work. To get your clit,
We're advocating for the cutting into children's bodies. Give us one argument.
Shut up. You're all
Give us one good argument.
No.
Damn, bro, this guy's
I don't
stupid.
want to argue with you. I don't want to change your mind.
Bro, oh my god. I don't know if I can deal with this shit, bro. This is causing me stress. There's always some motherfuckers who can't have a conversation. But yeah, thank you for watching. So tell me what you think in the comments and shit. Tell me what your opinion is. Thanks for watching this shit. Like, subscribe, post notifications, all that shit. And I will see y'all later, amigos. Adios.